video will be based on the unsolved disappearance of Lauren Dumolo. Lauren Dumolo was 29 years of age when she went missing in Cape Coral, Florida. This story is unique and a lot of things just don't add up to me. I chose to cover this story for two reasons. One reason being it's right in here in my hometown, and two, because, well, the deeper you get into this case, the more questions you start to ask yourself. And now, without further ado, let's get right into it. Lauren was a 29-year-old single mother, originally from New York and lived with her father. But she decided to move to Cape Coral, Florida in an attempt to start a relationship with her estranged mother. She spent some time growing relationships and friendships with many different people, but what she was most into was meditation. You see, Lauren spent a lot of her time meditating at Four Freedoms Park, which was only a street down from her apartment. Keep that in mind as we get deeper into this chilling case. Lauren had a boyfriend named Gabriel Pina, but would often be referred to as Gabby. From the outside, they seemed like a perfect relationship, but like many couples, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You see, Gabby had a violent past, and nobody knew that Lauren was receiving that same violence until it was too late to do anything. But Gabby wasn't the only one with secrets. Lauren allegedly had a different boyfriend at the same time by the name of Carl Crow, and it is believed that whenever it would get rough with Gabby, Carl would be who she went to. Due to a car accident Dumolo had when she was younger, she grew to follow a path of addiction and lost custody of her daughter Michaela. But it is said to believe that she had gotten sober and was determined to gain back custody of Michaela. Also keep that in mind for later. Lauren has many siblings, but her sister plays a key factor into the week of her disappearance. Again, keep that in mind for later. Now that I've given a brief summary of who Lauren Dumolo was and what she has gotten into, let's tackle right into her strange disappearance. In the month of June 2020, before she vanished, she was unwillingly taken to a psychiatric facility not once but two separate times. Before one entry, she had been found swimming in the water near Four Freedoms Park, and when asked what she was doing, she had merely replied, "I was being followed. I was being chased." Now, due to my lack of knowledge about what happened in that gap from her first visit to her second at the psych ward, I am unable to fill in the blanks from that time. But I can tell you is that her next visit to the psychiatric facility occurred not too long after her first, and her release was a day prior to her disappearance. She was released on June 18th of 2020. Once she was freed, she was seen at a local gas station applying for a job there, since she had recently lost her employment. This is some footage of her talking with the store worker for a brief moment before walking out. That same day, a maintenance worker claims that Dumolo approached him asking if he knew of any cheaper apartments because she needed to get out of the situation she was in, which is just blatantly odd because she had just paid her rent in full for the next month. So why the sudden urge to leave? But regardless of her odd actions, Dumolo's family is certain that she didn't disappear willingly, and I agree 100%. Now let's go back to when I stated that she was determined to get her daughter back. Why would she willingly disappear if she was dead set on regaining custody of her daughter? It just doesn't make sense, right? I suspect foul play. Now let's jump forward a day. June 19th of 2020 is the day that Lauren Dumolo officially disappeared. She was said to have been at Four Freedoms Park for her morning meditation, which is the last place she'd ever be seen again by the public eye. That morning, Gabby says that he kissed her goodbye at 6:30 a.m., right before he headed off to work, and when he returned home at approximately 10 p.m., Dumolo was nowhere to be seen. Pina waited about an hour before reaching out to anyone about this situation, but when he did, it was Lauren's father, Paul, who he chose to call. Paul was obviously very worried, but Gabby assured him that he would make a missing persons report. However, when Father's Day hit and Paul didn't receive any contact from his daughter, he decided to call the sheriff's office and ask about this report Gabby had promised to make. But to his surprise, a report hadn't been filed at all. It was only after Paul had reached out that an investigation had begun. Police had recovered Dumolo's purse and shoes found by citizens visiting the park days before. Remember when I said Lauren's sister was a key factor? Well, this is why. Her sister says that they were very close, and that just a day before they were talking, as we can see in this screenshot between the two of them, on June 18th it reads, "Hey, are you home yet?" Coming from the sister. And almost 2 hours later, Dumolo gives her a call which seems to have been missed, but the sister gave her a call back that lasted 4 minutes. Then the sister proceeds to text the following day, the day she goes missing, saying, "How are you doing today?" Then again the same day with "Hey," which obviously was not responded to. Her family immediately got to searching all over for her, including 4 Freedoms Park, which she was last seen at. And as stated, all they recovered was her purse and shoes. They even had a dive team go out into the lake that's connected to the park. Now this is where things start to get weird. Almost 2 weeks after police and her family had searched that park, Lauren's shirt that she was wearing at the time of her disappearance was found washed up on the sand. I'm going to give you a moment to take a look. Anyways, it's just absurd and honestly unbelievable how that shirt just magically appeared. It seemed as if the clothing was planted. This had everyone pondering if foul play was involved, including the police. Now, before we get into this case being looked at like it was planned, I want you to remember when I said the park was close by. You see, Lauren did not have a vehicle, so this park being close by would be an easy walk for her. I mention this because the speculation of Lauren disappearing on her own just makes no sense considering she did not even have a vehicle. So what? People actually believe she just walked away and somehow managed to not be seen by anyone for 4 years so far? Yeah, okay. Absolutely not. Now that I've covered that up, let's get into when it was officially ruled as foul play. Police officers ended up bringing K9s out to the 4 Freedoms Park in an attempt for the dogs to catch a scent and for police to catch a lead. However, the dogs didn't pick up anything at the park. In fact, the dogs actually led them out of the park right to a flooring company work van that both Gabby and Dumolo's stepfather had access to right before leading them to the doorstep of Dumolo's mother's house. The police did end up taking the van in as evidence, but didn't do anything with it, even though there was blood found in the boot of the van. The police have yet to disclose if they found more in that van than what they're telling us even now after 4 years have gone by. Despite the fact that Pina had an aggressive past, admitted to beating her, and the van being in reach of him, police say Pina was cleared as a suspect. My opinion? Well, I think he did it. If not at least, I think he knows what happened. When Pina was interviewed by Wink News, he said, and I quote, "I'm worried and scared. Not scared because I didn't do anything, but I'm just worried something really did happen." He also gave his own opinion on what he think happened. He stated, "So my thing is that she went out with one of her friends. Her friend got her all messed up on drugs, and I don't know what after that. I don't know how this man was cleared, but if the police say he's not guilty, then we just have to believe it, right?" Also, not to mention, Dumolo left with no money and no phone, and when police asked for her phone from Pena, he said, "That one's dead, here's this one," and proceeded to give them a fully charged phone. That's all the information I have on the beginning of her disappearance. But there are a ton of articles and even a whole Dr. Phil episode on this. But don't leave just yet, because it starts to get even more twisted as I go on. Dumolo's mother was in the hospital suffering from a sickness when Dumolo's sister went to go visit her. But we would later find out that it was just somebody pretending to be her sister, and due to COVID-19 having people wear masks, nobody questioned it. And to this day, we still don't know who it was. The mother would go on to pass away, but right before she does, she says the last person Lauren was with was Michael. Now, I haven't found out anything about this Michael character, but maybe you guys can. And if you do, make sure to email me and let me know. Also, Carl Crow, which was her side piece / other boyfriend, didn't seem to be a suspect either, because his alibi was quickly believed due to the fact that he was in jail at the time of her disappearance. Anyways, sometime later, police found human remains and were questioning if they were Lauren's. After a forensics analysis came back, it was proved that it was not her. To end things off, I just want to say, Lauren Dumolo is still missing to this day. If you have any information at all, make sure to contact the Lee County Sheriff's Office or Lauren's family directly. #BringLaurenHome. This has been Austin Zayne covering the unsolved disappearance of Lauren Dumolo. Make sure to subscribe and comment what you want me to cover next. Until next time, I'm out.